I'm making olele, but this video is actually mainly to show you how to wrap it in a different wrapper. I already have a video on this, but I used foil at that time. Now I know how to use banana leaves. This was the first time for me. This is the pack I used the last time, and that's all I have left. It was so easy, I couldn't even believe I got it right the very first try. And I used one pack for this one pack of banana leaves. This is actually sold at 95p from Wingyip, is the shop that I like to go to a lot, and they have the branches in Birmingham, Cricklewood, Manchester and Croydon. Okay, so you need black eye beans, palm oil, smoked fish and fresh fish. These are aubergines, and those little ones are garden eggs, bitter tomatoes. They're frozen, and so they look awful. Sorry about that. You need onions, Scotch bonnet peppers, salt, and fish cube. Well, stock cubes. Okay, so I'm going to put everything together, and then I show you how to wrap it in here. With this, I'm going to soak it for about 20 minutes, and then I start to rub off the skin, just so to take all the cover out. It's very difficult to do, I have to be honest with you. I absolutely hate doing it, and I don't do it all the time, but I'm going to do it today. So if you really want to know how to do this, I would please ask you to check other videos. There are quite a few on showing how to do it. It will be much more easier for you to do. I will just tell you my trick of doing it is, as I've already said, I'm going to soak it for about 20 minutes, and then I begin by rubbing the beans together using your hands, fingers, and take the skin off. The easiest way to do it is you do a handful at a time, because you would want them at the bottom of the bowl, and then you fill the bowl with water so the skin rises on top. If you leave this whole packet in the bowl, you are not going to get anywhere, and this was the point that I didn't really find in any of the videos I watched before. That's why I just couldn't do it. And finally, I can't even remember how I came about that. Was it I who just thought of it, or did I end up watching it? I don't know. But do a handful at a time, and that's the only way you're going to get through it. Even having said that, I take about 2 hours just to do this one pack, so you can then understand why I don't like doing it. It's 30 minutes now. So that's just about the handful. Make sure you have a kitchen strainer. You're going to need it. So just fill this with water now, and then begin to rub off. After a couple of minutes of rubbing it together, you can see you have some separation. So just put some water in now. And before it settles back, that's when you tilt it and let the out. So these are the skin that are coming off really. You must do it quickly, otherwise they settle back to the bottom. I still have some, so you just repeat the process until you have more or less everything comes out. And you begin with the next one. It's never going to all come off just by you rubbing it together with your hands. You are going to need to actually go in there with your 2 fingers and actually pluck some of the last ones out there. Again, this is just the way I do it, because I haven't figured out any other way to do it. I'm sure other people have much easier ways. I have been told a few, I've tried them, but I've failed. Also, if you live in North London and you know where to get the black eye beans that are peeled already, please, please, please comment and let everybody else know, including me, because I love this recipe, and I always prefer using the beans rather than the powder. But I just don't know how to do this, and it, deters me of making it so often. So please comment, please. And even if it's not in North London, maybe it's somewhere remotely near North London, just let me know and I will go and find it. If you could just see the smile on my face, but I have this to get through to. And this is the amount of skin that's come off just for that little bit. That's why you would need the strainer. If I can also just say, always use cold water, really cold when you're, not from the fridge, but you know, from the tap. When you're making this, because if you use the hot water, it will begin to cook it. Even though you may think it's been, it's not, but it does. Even the color begins to change. And also the hot water makes it so soft, it begins to break off into little pieces. Yes, you are going to blend it, but what happens is if it breaks into pieces and you're adding the water to wash it out, you're actually washing out a lot of flavor from the beans, all the nutrients and all the, you know, basically a lot of flavor is going out when you do that. And if you will leave it, you know, slightly tasteless. So I'm done with peeling the beans, and I just wanted to say about soaking them. I said you should soak them for 30 minutes. The reason why I do that is the longer you soak them, the more they swell, and when they swell, they begin to get soft. And when I was talking about it breaking up and you losing all that flavor in it, that's when those things happen. So I just soak for 30 minutes and then I begin to work. Now, if you're done and you're now worried about your blender, the rubber burning off because, you know, it's working harder, all you need to do is now at this point just put it back in the bowl and then soak it for as long as you're comfortable with. So now I just have the glass of water there and I'm going to begin to liquidize it. Okay, and with this as well, don't add too much water. Basically, just add enough water to make the blades spin. It's better to add the water when you're mixing everything together rather than having too much water here. Because if you have too much water, it's going to be quite difficult to encase it in the packaging that you'll be making. And you might just end up also with not a very nice end result. You know, it's going to be too soft. So you do it in batches, obviously. And okay. So when it's stopped, I like to take a knife and then also you can touch to see how grainy it is. One thing I like to do is I don't like to liquidize mine to liquid state. I like it to be a bit grainy because that just gives it, you know, some sort of texture. So I'm done with mincing that. I have just put in the fish cube. And I'm going to now add some salt. Now this can be a bit tricky with how much salt you need and so when you're done mixing everything, that's when I say just basically take one and steam it to test everything. That's how I do it anyway. That's the aubergine and the bitter tomatoes I showed you earlier. That's the white fish which I've diced now. It's probably about 3 fillets there. That's the 2 onions, the Scotch bonnet peppers, and that's the flaked mackerel. That's 2 fillets of mackerel. And then the palm oil, I put it in the microwave, but it's gone a bit cold again. It doesn't matter really. So now I'm just going to put everything here and then mix it through. I would like to put in the palm oil first, and then I just put everything else later. Oh, I start with the salt, you know, just to really incorporate that in properly. This is the thickness I have. How well you can see that. Now the liquidizer I was using, I put some water in there just to clean up the leftovers. And should I need it, then I will just use this. But quite frankly, I really like mine to be, you know, really solid when I put it in the casing, and it's just a matter of you giving it time to steam. And I have put the palm oil in the microwave. Actually, I think it did need it. It's better, I think, to have it liquid when you put it in here. So I've mixed everything through. This is the consistency I have. But like I said, this is what I prefer. I didn't get to add the liquid in there because I thought I didn't need it. I've used all the palm oil that I did have. This is the water that came out from the aubergines and garden eggs. They were frozen, so they, you know, retained all of this. And yeah, everything's in there. The banana leaves, when you buy them, they're bought frozen in the freezer. You'd find them, and it does say keep frozen. They really don't need that long to thaw out at all. I just took them out because I was taking everything out. So now I'm going to show you how to do the banana leaves. I said that this video was just to show you how to do the banana leaves, and I ended up showing you an entire video. I'm so sorry for that. So, okay. So I've opened the bag, and I have the water running, and I'm not going to be able to show you properly because I'm holding this camera, but I will run it through the water like that, and then with my fingers I'm just going to sort of rub, but I'm going to do this very gently because you don't want to tear them, and I'm going to do it on either side. They're usually in a long strip, so basically I'm just going to do it on every part of it. It is quite dusty at some parts, so just like that, and then with my fingers I'll rub them through, and when I'm done with that I will show you what I do next. So I'm done with rinsing out the whole batch. You're going to need scissors or a really sharp knife because the edge is really tacky, and you would have already found that some of them are torn anyway, and you might just tear some more by rinsing it out. You would also find like something like this, which really you can't do anything with this, but I will take this and I will cut it in 4 because what you're also going to need is some sort of a tying instrument, you know, just to keep everything in place. This will all make much more sense once I show it to you. Now you need a kitchen towel because whilst it's wet, I would advise you to go through it and just rub it off. You might not see anything, but then again, the other side is usually more dusty than one of it. Again, nothing really, but I still do it because last time I found that it did help, or maybe today I washed it just a little bit better. Anyhow, okay, so now I'm just going to cut them in strips. And when you're cutting them in strips, you are not going to get everything uniformed in the same, you know, length. I am just going to use what I have here, as in, you know, if it wasn't torn, most of them like this, I would obviously get everything in the same size, but I am not. So I'm just going to go ahead and see what I can do with this. Okay, so I've done cutting everything up. I did count this. I'm sorry, I've forgotten now. I'll tell you later. I have all sorts of sizes. I have something like this. Then I have something like this. Now these are the strips I was talking about. So as you cut them, just if you know anything is looking really not working, just take it out and then cut them into strips because you'll be needing them. Now, how do I show you how to do this? Okay, so 2 sides. I like to use the nicer side to put the thing on. Okay, so here I'm going to place the mixture. So I place the mixture there. You can see I've left that bit out. Then the next thing is I want to pinch it here, and then I turn it over like so. But know that you're doing this with your two hands, so it's going to be obviously much more easier. When I've turned it over like that, I now pinch that bit in, and then I fold that corner as well inside. That's when you take a strip and then you tie it. Right, so I've done all this lot, but there's been so many issues with the camera, the children coming in and so on. So I'll just show you. You already have seen 2 clips, but if I can just show you again. Okay, so we do something like this. If you can see this, you know, little gaps. Don't worry too much about that. So take some, put in there, and obviously the bigger the leaf, the more you put in there. So you have it like this. Now pinch here where it begins and turn it this way. So did you see that? Sorry, pinch and turn this way. And now you want to drop this in the middle there. Lift this bit up and turn. Take a tie string and tie.
Mom.
And there you have it. And you just want to place them in here so you don't keep, you know, moving them about. This is where we're going to be steaming it in. And I'll just show you one final one, which is the humongous one. A big block in there. So pinch there, turn to this side. You want to drop it in the middle, lift up the side, and like this. And now you want to tie it twice. There you go. And you just carry on. I did say I was going to count all of these for you. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know. I think about 30. Again, I will tell you in the end. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I've already done these, but my daughter kept walking past or coming in and showing her face. So I'm going to use one of them, and I just like to use the nicer side to put it in. If you have something like this, don't worry too much because you're going to be overlapping them. So take some mixture, place it there, so we're leaving this side, and not because of that, you're just leaving that side anyway. And you want to pinch here, turn it this way, and now this, you want to pop it in the middle. So there, and then you lift this bit up. And you do so, take this remainder and have it like that. So take one of your tie strings, and on the table, just tie it. Tie it twice, just for extra security. And there you go. Nice parcel. So I did have very different sizes. Like, look, that's a massive one, and then there's a really tiny one. I even had a smaller one than that. Okay, like something like this. I show you. I still use it. So You just need to take a little less, pop it here, knit there, turn this way, and then you want to put this in the middle, lift up the sides, again turn this way, or you can even do this, basically just anyhow. Okay, that one's coming off at the bottom. We have a little bit of the thing. I'm not too concerned about that. Look, like these, they just were there. So I'm just going to take this and do this. And take another tie string again. Tie that down. This is where the thickness comes in to help you. The consistency of this, because had it been watery you couldn't have done that. So look, now we've fixed it. Okay, so I just want to show you how to do this. I have different sizes. We can start with this one. I like to use the nicer side, well, the smoother side. So with the mixture, every time you do 3 or 4, try and mix it again. So take some, place it here, leave this bit out. So that's sort of a... Now pinch there where it starts and turn it this way. Then this, you want to drop it in the middle, so like so. And then you lift up the sides again, and this bit you turn it this way. And take one of your tie strings. Doesn't have to be that big. I have smaller ones than that.
Right here.
And tie it. Tie it twice for extra security. So I want to show you how to do an even smaller one like this. So I want to use the smoother side. Take some, obviously just a little less because it's smaller. Pinch there. Turn this way. Take this bit. Now you want to drop that in the middle. Lift the sides. And then tie it. Banana leaves are the traditional way they do it in Gambia. They are so much more appealing and they smell really nice and possibly tastier. So that's it. So really even the smaller, sections you can use. I've used smaller sections than that. Obviously it's only a mouthful that you get, but at least you're putting it somewhere. And okay, we've done all of these so far. I reckon there's about 15 in there. And we have quite a bit to go. And I will show you now how to steam it.
My name, mommy. 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 I have all the fire. It's on your head. It's on your head. It's so funny. It's just funny on your head. No, it doesn't fire. I'm ready.
More difficult for regular broadband. Maxing, relaxing, struggling, making other plans, they can't. Yeah?
Yeah, someone's open. What are we doing?
Stroke of a brush. Legendary hold. Now with anti-frizz control. Protects from fly-away with humidity. Perfect for sleek styles and polished ponytails. Elnett So Sleek by L'Oreal. Learn how to get this season's ponytail look.
The safety welcome includes Wake Me Up, Out Monday, B&Q. The best people to recommend here.
The video you've been watching was made on the 15th of September. Today's the 9th of October. I couldn't continue the video because I had such bad news that day and I ended up having to stop. And what I did was I took 2 of the Olele that I made out and froze them just so later on I could continue the video. I've just taken these 2 out of the freezer and I'm now going to defrost them and open it so you see. The whole point is just for you to see the finished product. And to put them in the microwave, I'm going to pour a little bit of water just down there, just a tiny bit, and I'm going to set my microwave on defrost. So I've just taken it out of the microwave. I microwaved them on defrost for 10 minutes. I've opened this one, and you can see the tiny bit of water that I put on the plate has been absorbed, I guess, by the leaves, which would have just helped it with the drying out. And this is it, really. Let me just take a picture. Oh my God, it's very hot. Maybe it could have done with 8 minutes. Yep, so that's it really. It has taken almost a month for me to complete the video, but here we are.
The snowman's coming out at me. They want revenge because I put a hole in